Carla Moore. Are you ready, Carla?
Oh, that's quite a way to introduce it.
I just thought I'd catch everybody's attention right out of the gate. Did it work?
Great. Yeah, well, got mine.
Welcome, friends. Thank you for joining us here. Thank you for pulling up a chair to our table, if you will. This is Looking Up. We're a podcast for Christian women, and we just chat about whatever's on our hearts. I'm Kathy Pollard in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and with me is Carla Moore in Dripping Springs, Texas. And we like to talk about things that we hope encourage others and remind us all to keep looking up from Colossians 3, verses 1 and 2. And early on in this podcast, we have done 3 years now. Early on, we each took an episode where we kind of did a little interview of each other. We're going to do something similar today, except we're going to go deep. We're going to really get to know Carla today. So she's already
My
made me
palms are getting
scratch off
sweaty.
a couple of my questions.
The really embarrassing ones.
That's right. That's right. I don't blame you. I don't think I would have wanted to answer them either. So
Yeah, let's
how
not
are
tell
you,
anybody what
Carla?
they were.
Oh, we're not going to say. That's all right. We're not going to
Yeah,
say what they were. I know you've got focal points going on. Like you're pretty much as soon as we're done
yeah.
leaving for that. So, but other than that, what have you been up to since the last time we chatted?
Well, we went to Katy this weekend where Jordan and Aaron are and did a marriage seminar. And it was fun because we know a lot of those people and they're friends. We've just known them for probably 10 years or more. And so it was enjoyable being with them, but we got to do things with the kids. We got to watch one of Jackson's basketball games and got to watch Emmy on a horse and just, had fun being in Katy and being with our kids. So that was the main thing that happened this weekend was getting to do that. So what you been doing?
Nice. I went to a vet in Smiths Grove and watched Apricot get dehorned.
Oh yeah, I forgot to ask you how that went.
It wasn't as bad as I thought. I was really prepared for some gore. I'd heard stories, but the vet was fantastic. I mean, he went really smooth. I'll spare you all the details. It was very educational, and I'm glad I went.
Hmm.
But she's doing great, and that same day we celebrated Dale and Janelle's birthday here. They chose calzones, so we made homemade calzones and celebrated their birthdays. Got my hair cut today.
You got new glasses?
Yeah. So these are my very first ever prescription strength glasses.
Do they feel normal? Like can you see normally already? Sometimes it takes a while to get used to them.
Yeah, this yesterday was my first full day wearing them, and they're progressives,
Hmm.
because I really only need readers mostly. But I got tired of the whole, I need a really light one for driving at night or watching TV, and then I need a stronger one for, that I felt like I had 6 to 8 pairs of glasses everywhere. And are these the right ones? Or are these the ones I need? Constantly off and on, off and on. So hopefully these will save me from doing all of that stuff. But so far, yesterday when I put them on and I came down the stairs, that was a little wiggy.
Yeah,
In fact, I was
depth
carrying,
perception.
yeah, I had something in my left hand and I was carrying my coffee mug in my right hand. And I had to put my coffee mug down so I could hold the rail because I was like, ooh,
Yeah. And you have wooden stairs, those could be slippery.
yes. But I feel like I've gotten used to them. Now it's just going to be glasses care because I've never really had nice glasses. I've just bought cheap readers before. And so, last night I was cooking and I thought, how do you keep your glasses clean while you're cooking? How do you keep, like, what if I was frying sausage or bacon or something? How does that work?
Yeah.
So,
Well, they look
I
good
was
on you.
getting my
They're
hair done
flattering.
today. I had my glasses on my lap and she
Hmm.
started spraying hairspray. And I was like, whoa, I'm trying to
Yeah.
cover up my glasses with my cape.
Did you get a spare pair or just that one pair?
Oh, just this one pair. These little puppies are not cheap.
Yeah.
I did not know this.
Yeah.
Learned a lot.
The progressives are not cheap. I think
Learned
I
a
told
lot.
you John left a pair on an airplane one time. He cannot keep up with glasses. So we
Yeah.
just decided he just needs readers.
Yeah, he's gonna
I
have to
mean,
go the cheap route. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
It's like sunglasses, if you have a really nice pair,
Mm.
you're going to lose them immediately. But if you
Those are
have the
the
cheap
ones you drop
ones,
in the ocean. Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. Cheap ones
Yeah.
you can hang on to for years.
Well, I was supposed to go back next Tuesday to get fitted for contacts so that I would have contacts for like video occasions and things like that. But after getting the glasses and it costing significantly more than I thought it was going to, I called and canceled that appointment. I was like, I think we'll just stick with glasses for now.
Yeah. Get you one of those chains that hang, you can hang them around your neck so you don't lose them.
Yeah. But anyway,
Well, they look good. I like them.
thank you. Thank you.
So what about the weather? What's it doing there?
Oh, it's crazy. Right now, this morning it was kind of sleeting. Now it's just raining. It's supposed to rain all day tomorrow. This airs on Monday, so who knows what it'll be like.
Yeah.
But right now, the weatherman is calling for the snow occasion of the generation, like gobs and gobs of snow coming in on Friday and Saturday. So Neil is, I don't know if he's already in Texas or still flying down there at this time, but he's going to be down there with y'all at Focal Point,
Mm.
and he was supposed to speak Saturday afternoon also, but he reached out to somebody and has changed his flight, so he'll come. He's going to try and come back on Friday, to get ahead
Yeah.
of all of that, so he didn't get stuck down there. I
Yeah.
mean, he loves y'all, but
Yeah. You don't want to get stuck away from home. That's just no fun,
no.
especially when he'd be worried about you if things are going on there. So, well,
Mhm.
it's nice here right now. It's actually 71 degrees and it's supposed to be this way like
Nice, 71
er,
degrees. Yeah.
yeah. Remember that in August when it's 107. But
Sure.
it's supposed to stay this way until Friday afternoon and then the cold front comes and then who knows? And we're just not equipped like most
Yeah.
states that are north of us. We don't have the ice trucks and all that. I think they will coat some of the roads, but only the highways. It's just not anything like places that can easily prepare for weather. So things are
Mhm.
different here. And I have an idea, here we are on what is this, Wednesday? I predict if things continue the way the weathermen are saying it's going to be, I bet we'll be home on Saturday and Sunday. So we'll see. Maybe not.
That's too bad.
I
Didn't
know.
Focal Point used to be in May?
Yes, it did.
Hmm.
It did. And I'm not sure of all the reasons. I think that my husband was in on some of that decision making and I didn't ask him today. Why did y'all make it in January? But I think they were trying to not compete with things like graduation and because May is just a busy month. So
Yeah. But it seems like more and more it's hard to find a month that's not busy. Even in the dead of winter, it seems like there's still lots of things going on
yeah, yeah,
everywhere.
we'll see. But
Hmm.
a lot of people put in a lot of preparation and
Hmm.
you hate for people to not come because of what might happen and it might turn out for nothing.
Could be
It may
nothing.
completely go away. Who knows? But we'll just wait and see.
Hmm. Well, I hope it goes well.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. I always look
Yeah.
forward to seeing people.
There's something I haven't been to Focal Point in a while. I'm trying
Hmm.
to remember the last time I went, but I've always enjoyed it when I've gone. There's a special environment to it.
Yeah.
There's a special feeling to it. It's got a warmth to it that I always enjoy.
Well, and one of the things that is kind of a misconception, even though it's not really, it's advertised as a preacher's workshop,
Hmm.
but it's for everyone. And
Hmm.
so I've literally had I've invited several people and they'll say, but it isn't that just for preachers? And I always say, no, it's really not. But then you look on the brochure and it says something about for preachers, but it's got something for everyone and it's always good. And it's a smaller atmosphere than PTP, but it's similar to that because, you've been. So you get to see people, you get to have lunch with them, you get to hear good lessons in smaller venue kind of thing. So it's always cozier.
It seems like cinnamon rolls and barbecue are always involved.
Yeah.
So
Cindy
that's
Coleman always makes cinnamon rolls. I don't know for sure if she is this year. And I don't know about the barbecue either because the person that used to always make that isn't in San Marcos anymore. So we'll see. I don't know. It's always good.
well, all right. Let me see. Is there anything else we want to chat about?
I was going to mention that there's a new magazine, an online magazine coming out called Grow and Glorify. Have you heard about this
I
from
have
Excel
not.
Still More? So it's
No.
called Grow and Glorify, and it's from the Excel Still More people. That's Garrett Bernethy and
Yeah.
Billy Claybaugh and think Steve Schinnerer is part of that. But Christy Huntsman is going to be the editor. She is the editor.
Oh,
And
wow.
yes, and I'm not sure how she's going to do all that she does because she's still Come Fill Your Cup editor.
Mhm.
But I'm excited about it because they're hoping that it'll turn into a print magazine. Right now, it's just online,
Yay.
and it's not actually out yet. I think the first episode, the first issue is going to be in March.
Mm.
But it's going to be, real Bible based and some good in-depth stuff, some
I'm so
lighthearted things.
excited.
Yeah, a women's magazine. I'm excited too because McKenna, I almost said McKenna Miller. I've known her since she was a little girl as McKenna Miller, but she's Putnam now.
Mhm.
And you know her, you know who I'm talking about, McKenna. She's going to be part of it. She's a fabulous graphic designer and she's going to be part of it. And she'll probably be writing some too, but probably more involved in the design of it. And so anyway, just keep an eye out. When I know subscription details, I don't think they've sent those out yet, but when I know, I'll share
Okay.
them.
That was my next question was,
Yeah, yeah,
but
grow
do you just
more
go
about
to Excel Still More website and
I don't know if he has it on there yet or not. I just got something a couple days ago about it. So I'll find out. I messaged Christy right before, early this morning, and she said it'd be great to mention it, and then they would get me subscription information as soon as she had it. So probably within the next few
awesome.
days.
Man, that's fantastic. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
That is great. You that could have been something good for you.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Let's back that up and I'll share it at the end. I didn't even think about that. I do have something else that's something good for you, but it's not
Oh,
as fun.
okay. Okay. Well, so
Mhm.
my laptop updated the other day, and do you know I lost some things
Oh,
on my
what kind of
laptop?
things?
And one of them was this year's like speaking schedules.
It's got to be in
And
there somewhere.
I've looked everywhere. Neil looked everywhere. I even looked up how to find stuff that disappeared, and like you can go to an offsite iCloud
Mhm.
and look for it there, and all the places that it said it was supposed to be, it is not. Um,
You never printed it?
no. I've never ever printed off any of those things. Like every year but this year.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So whoever's out there listening that Kathy's coming. Oh, by the way, did you know that you're coming to Drippin next month? It's on your speaking schedule. February the 10th or something like that.
Well, Neil was like, "Well, surely you remember these things." I'm like, "I looked at I've looked at springs, like this is stuff coming up and I always list topics, my contact person, that kind of information, It is gone.
What kind of document was it?
It was Pages.
It's got to be there somewhere. Got to be.
Well, my last resort is like you can buy something. You can buy something and download it and have it like an outside something, reclaim or refund, something like that. But
Well, I've heard of on a Mac that you can go back. It's like a time machine, go back in time.
yeah, I've
So
looked at
like,
that one. But you have to set it up when you get it, which apparently I
oh,
never did. So I have Time Machine, but not doing its job. So
well, that stinks.
yeah, yeah. And there was one other item, I can't remember what it was, but there's something else that's missing also. It was weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it an automatic update?
I mean, I knew it was coming because
Hmm.
it lets me know. I just made sure it was plugged in overnight because I knew it was going to do it.
Well, so where are you going in the next few weeks? I know you're going to Freed.
I know I'm going to Freed and Affirming the Faith, and I have a ladies' day in Portland at Fountainhead, and I have Equipped in April. That's what I know about.
Well, I guess it could be worse. It could have been one of your lessons that you've already prepared,
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
but that's pretty bad.
It is. It is. And that was a bad feeling too, when I never could find it. Like my stomach just went, "Ugh."
Yeah.
So,
So if there's techie people out there that know how to figure that out, please
yeah.
find
Yeah.
it on Kathy's laptop.
Yeah. I want to mention one other thing just for fun. So I really want to do a capsule wardrobe.
What's that?
That's where you just you kind of go through and you relegate your wardrobe. You just like very specifically curate it to just, a few tops and a few bottoms and a few outerwear and a few, but they all sort of coordinate so that it takes away all that decision fatigue
Yeah.
and
Everything goes together.
everything goes together so that, and I lean toward neutrals anyway, so I'm drawn to that idea anyway, but so that whatever you grab will always work no matter what. And I look at my closet and I feel like I always have so many things and I don't wear them. And you know that whole saying about like 20% of the people are doing 80% of the work. They say the same thing
Mhm.
about your closet. You
Yeah.
typically wear 20% of your closet 80% of the time. And I know that's true. And shoes, clothes, all that kind of stuff. I just look at it and mommy markdown is not helping.
No.
I see these
No.
sweaters go on sale and I'm like, it's only $7. And then I get it, and of course it's see-through, or
Yeah.
whatever, and you can wear it. And that was another thing I read that typically, I don't feel like this is true for me, but they'll say typically people wear their clothing items an average of 7 times, and that's it. So I would just rather like stick with pieces that I really, really love, or if I have a gap, find a piece that's good quality and that I really love, and just get rid of everything else and just like work on, see if it works, just. I've been intrigued by that idea for a while, and I'd really like to make it happen.
Well, you let me know how that works out for you.
I will. Hillary Hammer said she did that a few years ago. She wants to
Did
do
you
it
stick
again.
with it?
She said something about it kind of worked itself away from there.
I would get bored.
You think?
And as soon as I got rid of something, I would want it back.
Well, you wear a lot more color than I do. A lot of your tops have patterns. I rarely have patterns on
Yeah.
anything. And one of the things that I read about that was you make up for that with like a scarf or,
Mhm.
change out your accessories and
Yeah.
stuff instead of your actual clothing items.
Well, so what if you did that, like you have your little capsule wardrobe and you take everything else out of your closet and put it in a different closet for
Hmm.
a month or two and then just see how that works out for you.
Yeah,
See how
and that's
many
very
times you go to
smart.
the other closet.
Yes, that's very smart. And that's one of the suggestions is, don't actually get rid of all your stuff
Hmm.
in case you have regrets.
Yeah. I would have regrets.
Yeah. So,
Well, that's interesting. I mean, I think that I have capsule bottoms, but I don't have capsule tops. I have lots of tops.
mhm,
But I mean, most of my stuff comes from Goodwill. I would venture to say 85% of my clothes come from Goodwill.
mhm.
And anytime I bought a dress in Hawaii, kind of a Hawaiian, I was hoping to wear it this weekend, but apparently that's not going to work out. Um, but when I do buy something new, it's like, whoa, I just can't. It's hard for me to get past it. It's not 8.99 because usually what I buy is 8.99. So
Yeah. Do you remember that blue and white linen dress that I bought when we were in Florence, Italy?
I do.
I never wore it.
Kathy, that was so pretty.
It was, but it
You
didn't look
still
good on
have it?
me. No, I gave it away. I donated it. It did not look good on me. I loved it hanging up there. I was like, oh, that's gorgeous.
Didn't you try it on though?
I don't think I did. It was in an outdoor thing,
I
remember?
thought there was a one of those little closet things that they did with drapes.
Maybe so. All I know is when I got it home and put it on, I didn't like it and I never wore it.
Did you carry that purse?
Oh, yeah, I still have the purse.
Okay.
Um, I still use that one.
Yeah. Well, give it a try.
Yeah, I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah.
I talked to Neil about it and he just kept going, uh-huh.
He's gonna get bored of seeing you wear the same old things all the time.
Well, I think he's
That's
thinking, because I said, and if I have any holes, then I'll just go out and find a good quality piece that will last for years. And in
so
his
he's
mind,
seeing
he's going,
dollars.
ching, yeah, uh-huh. So, and I'm gonna say, I bet you that's gonna be the challenging part because it is really hard for me to find good quality clothing.
Yeah.
I mean, this If you're working with a budget, I should put it that way.
Mm.
It's just really hard. And even clothes that claim to be wool or whatever, when you actually go to what it's made of, they're not. It's a flat out lie.
Yeah,
It's 95% polyester and 5% wool.
it's wool blend. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. What does it count like with the things that you wear around the house?
Like sweats and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not counting that. Like
Okay, so
workout
things that you wear
clothes
out.
and pajamas. Yeah, I'm not. I'm just thinking about like outfits, like stuff that I
Okay.
wear out.
Mhm. So people are going to be sitting there going, "And she wore that 2 weeks ago. She wore that last Wednesday."
But if you do it right, you're supposed to be able to make so many different outfit combinations that you
Yeah.
can't really tell, you
So
know?
you need like a sport coat, blazer type thing, and you need a black sweater, and you need a black skirt and a tan, whatever.
Like if you do t-shirts and cardigans,
Yeah.
pants and skirts, and they all mix and match.
Hmm.
All
Okay. Well,
right,
give it a try.
anyways. Okay, enough of that.
I'm intrigued.
Well, we are going to deep dive into Carla's brain today, into her past, into what inspires her, into what grew her. I mean, we're going deep. She's just gonna bare her soul to all of us today. Isn't that
Me.
what you said? Yeah. All right, so I do have a few questions. I figured we'll just run through these. You can answer. If you don't even want to answer, you don't have to, but you can answer as simple or as in deep as you want to go. You can keep them short, you can expand. It is completely up to you. Okay?
Plead the fifth.
That's right. You can do that also. Number one, I feel like some of these I can probably guess, but anyways, number one, who inspires you to be a better person?
Okay, guess.
I'm going to say your husband.
Uh-huh. And I thought about that. You okay, in all honesty, you gave me these questions yesterday. And so I looked through them and I didn't spend a whole lot of time because I figured it'd be better to just have a discussion.
Mhm.
And this one I thought, should I, it's so obvious. Should I try to find somebody else that inspires me to be a better person? Because of
Did I come
course
up with a
there's,
better answer?
yeah, am I going to get points for good answers and a prize at the end?
Definitely.
Okay. Well, so there, of course, there's always, and I know you could say this too, there's always a lot of people that inspire you to be a better person, but he just does. I mean, you know him, so you know this to be true. He has a positive outlook on life. He has a healthy view of who God is. There's some people I think that see God as just this big benevolent grandfather. And then there's other people who see God as just this punitive punisher. I think that's two of the same words, but John just has always had this healthy view of who God is, and he has helped me to see to see God in a different way. Not that I don't think I had an unhealthy view of who God was, um but it he's just been the kind of person that makes me want to do better and be better. And he's not someone that I can always gripe to him about something, but I also know that there's a limit to that he's going to at some point say, well, well, he will say sometimes, do you want me to just listen? Or do you want me to suggest or try to fix it? But even if I don't say, I want you to offer suggestions or fix or whatever, he'll say, maybe there's a better way of thinking about that. Or he'll say nothing, and I'll know that that's what he's wanting me to understand is that you need to think a little bit differently about that. So
Mhm.
he's just he's a good man, and I've been blessed by him for 2/3 of my life. I mean, think about I was 16 when we started dating, and I'm 50, almost 58 now. So the vast majority of my life he's been around, and he's made me be a better person. So that's the short, long answer to that question. Maybe the obvious answer, but it's true.
Yeah, I doubt anybody was surprised, but it's still a good answer.
Okay.
Okay, excuse me. Number two, when did your life change for the better?
I wrote something down and then I changed it because I thought of something that was more transformative. I think yeah, what I first wrote down was when we made that change 10 years ago. It's been 10 years ago near, well, yeah. It was summer of 2016 when we decided to kind of make a change. And not that there was anything bad before that, but I think we were both just at a point where we needed a change. And so we made the transition to start to Bible passages and to make the change to Bear Valley part of the year. And I learned how to study, and I hadn't really known that before. And I think I, for a while, completely attributed that to Bear Valley, but at the same time, I think it had something to do with the phase of my life. And my kids were all gone. You know, Micah graduated high school in 2016 and he went to college. And so we had empty nest. So it wasn't all Bear Valley, although it was a lot. You know, I learned how to use logos and I got to be around fabulous people and all that. Anyway, all that to say that was pretty transformative. But I think when my life really did change for the better is when I consciously realized that I needed to actually put that passage into work in my life that talks about not being conformed to the world, but being transformed by the renewing of my mind. And you know, that word intentional, just being intentional about changing the way I thought about things, and that I was going to really try hard not to be critical and to be less judgmental or not judgmental at all. Of course, you know, I failed at that a lot of times, but I think that for everyone is something that would be help you change for the better, is to put that into practice and to really work hard on changing how you think. And I think a lot of people think it's not possible, but it really is.
Yeah, and the phrase is renewing your mind. And the idea of renewal, anyway, gives you an idea of what's to come if you do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
So that was my final answer.
That's your final answer. All
Mm.
right. Number three, what is a comfort item you had as a child?
Okay, before I answer, you have to answer that one.
Huh?
Did you have a comfort item?
No.
Because I really had to think about this. I was like, I didn't carry a blanket around.
I didn't either. I
I
didn't
didn't
have
suck my thumb. I did have a drowsy doll. Did you ever? You're younger than me. Have you heard of the
it.
drowsy doll?
Not. No.
So, I think I still have it somewhere. Briefly considered seeing if I could find it, and then thought, no, I'm not gonna do that. But she was called drowsy because she had the eyes that were like half closed. She was sleepy. And I cut her hair, of course. She had blonde hair and I cut it and it was terrible. And a pink and white polka dot fabric body. And I guess I don't remember much about, I know I had it because mom gave it to me. I don't have these memories about drowsy other
Mhm.
than that I
Mhm.
had her. So sorry.
Yeah,
Uninteresting.
that's okay. All right. Who is a spiritual hero in your life? And this might be the same question as the first one. I don't know. But it says a spiritual hero. It doesn't have to be your favorite spiritual
Yeah.
hero.
Yeah. Because I thought there's tons of people that I could say here as well. Um, but the one that when I started really thinking about it, the one that came to mind was Wayne Berger. And you know Wayne.
Good one.
And Wheezy too. She's right there with him. But I guess I probably spent a little bit more time with Wayne just around Bear Valley, but anybody that knows him will know why he would be a spiritual hero. First of all, he would probably hate being called a spiritual hero, or maybe not hate it, but he would be completely surprised that
Yeah, he would
anyone would call him a
deflect.
spiritual hero.
He would deflect for sure. Yeah.
Exactly. Because he's just, I think the thing that really, there's lots of things about him that stand out, but his humility, he just is the most humble man. He loves everybody else. He's going to ask everybody else and talk about everybody else and how great they are and how remarkable. I mean, I think that's one of his words that he would use a lot to talk about people as being remarkable. And he's he's just the best man. I miss him. And I used to, our office, he would come up the stairs after his classes and he'd sit down in my office for a while and talk. And he was, let's see, if he's about 25 years older than me, but he would want to know what I'm doing and what we have going on. And he's so much more interesting than I am and has so much more. He's 80 something years old, but when he was 80, he and Wheezy moved from Colorado to New Hampshire, not to retire, but to start another congregation
Yeah.
in the what, Lancaster area? Littleton,
Yeah.
Littleton, New Hampshire. And I think someone who's 80 and that doesn't use that as a reason, and I know there's a lot of 80-year-olds that just can't do it,
Mhm.
but he's the Energizer Bunny and just
Mhm.
set off for a whole new state, thousands of miles away
Yeah.
to start a new congregation. And because Wheezy could breathe better there, she was having to use oxygen at high altitude. But I just love him. I know you do too.
Mhm.
When I think about him, I simultaneously want to cry. I want to hug him. I want to talk to him. And there's just not a lot of people in the world that make you feel that way. He's just one of those guys. He thinks about soul winning all the time. I don't know. How would you describe him?
That's exactly how I was going to describe it. I was going to point out the fact that Bear Valley's theme for so long was think souls, and that he embodies that, whether it's the soul's already in the body because he shows genuine interest and love, and he's the encourager, um, and definitely lost souls because he is so willing to be inconvenienced
Yeah.
to reach souls. And where they're at now, they don't have a convenient way to get to the airport. It requires hopping on a bus and going on a long journey and
Yeah.
getting to the airport and flying and renting. I mean, lots of work to get to where he needs to go when he goes and speaks. And he does it anyway, because he loves souls. So he's
And
just
the
genuine
mentor.
through and through.
Oh yeah, that's the perfect word for him too. He's genuine. I mean, he cries. He just not like tears rolling down his face, but he'll be talking to you, complimenting you, and he'll get tears in his eyes. Just so genuine. And I think about the mentor that he is right now too, and always has been, but he's got Matt Graham up there with him, mentoring him. I don't think Wayne would consider himself a mentor, but he
Hmm.
is.
Yeah.
And there's another young man up there with him, helping him with the work, and he's just he's inspiring, wonderful, genuine. I just love him to death. Miss
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. Me too. Me too. Good one. I agree 100%.
Good.
Okay, what's your saddest childhood memory?
Um, there's one, and I must have been very, very young. And so I don't know how much I actually remember or if it's things that I've been told, but I remember my aunt in Atlanta, her little dog ran out in the road one day when we were there and was killed by a car. And so I remember her crying. And that's just a very vague memory. But I think one of them that was more impactful to me, I was in the seventh grade, and my friend, and it was a boy, but he was like my best friend from the church in San Marcos. And his mom had cancer and passed away.
Mm.
And it was one of those, I didn't know what to say to him. I didn't know what to do. I hurt for him because they were members of the church and she was one of my mom's good friends, and it was just one of those times where I was completely at a loss to know what to say. There was a little bit of I guess a barrier because he was a boy and I was a girl, and I couldn't just walk up to him and hug him. If we had been 5 years older, I would have easily done that, but at the time it just was not natural. And so I think that I probably didn't say anything. And so then I felt horrible because I hadn't said anything.
Oh,
It's just, it was
yeah.
I felt so bad for him. And I remember in my memory, I can still see him at the funeral. I remember sitting in rows back and I could see like the top of his head and just the the pain that I felt for him. It's just a very, very sad time. And she was sick for a while, and so it was probably a blessing in the sense of being released from her pain. But
Mm.
that was his mom, and oh, it
Oh,
was just so painful for him, and I painful that I didn't know what to say to him, didn't know how to help, and couldn't. So that's probably my saddest memory.
sorry.
Yeah, I've talked to him since then.
Did you tell him you were sorry?
I mean, I don't know if I ever said I'm sorry I didn't talk to you after your mom died, but I'm sure that there was some kind of conversation like that.
Mhm. Mm.
Yeah.
All right. What spiritual lesson has a grandparent taught you?
My mom's mom, she was my grandma, and she was called Gammy by my younger cousin. So sometimes she's called Gammy, sometimes Grandma, but she, I have so many memories of her. She was a great cook. She could cook the best scrambled eggs, and she would always, whatever was left over, I don't care if it was like 2 bites, she would put them on a little plate, cover them with something, and put them on the back of the stove. And she'd say, "That's just in case a little man comes by." So from her past, people that needed some help, that might knock on the door and want some food. I don't know that that ever happened by the time I was,
Hmm.
by the time I came along, but she 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 was so funny and would she they were a little group of boys at church. I mean, little boys like 6, 7 years old. And I remember she would walk up to him and say, "When are we going to get married?" And they would look at her like, "I don't want to marry you." But she just would joke and laugh. And it's mom's mom. So you can imagine where mom got her sense of humor as well. But what I guess I learned from her, other than the sense of humor, but two things. I would spend the night with her, and sometimes I would sleep in the bed with her. But even if I didn't, I would be close by. I'd be in the room right next to her, and I could hear her reading her Bible at night, not like out loud, but she would be in bed, and she in Ephesians 2, Apostle Paul, she would just be kind of mouthing the words so that she could focus on them.
Hmm.
And so just nightly Bible reading is one of the
Wow.
things that I remember thinking that she was diligent about that. And
Mm.
then also she was ancient to me when I was little, but she would go visit widows. She was a widow and an old woman, and yet she's the one taking food to other widows. And I mean, she took that seriously, visiting the fatherless and the orphans and the widows, and doing those kinds of things. So my other grandmother, I didn't know her husband, my mom's dad. He died when I was little. And my dad's mother, she taught me plenty as well. But my dad's father, I didn't know him. I remember him, but I was pretty young when he died. But my mom's mom, I knew her until she died when she was almost 103. And she was just one of those really special women. So she was great.
Sounds like a remarkable woman. What an impression. The nightly readings and the muttering through the Bible.
Mhm.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
knew that's what she was doing.
Yeah, I love it. When were you the loneliest?
That was kind of a hard one. Um, but probably during John's heart event, even though I was surrounded by people, my kids were here for a solid week after it happened. And then there was another week that he was still in the hospital, but he was well enough that we knew he was going to survive, and or at least we assumed he would. But I think it was just that reality of silly things like the TV remote doesn't work, and I don't know what to do. I don't have the slightest idea of what to do, because that's the kind of thing he did, which sounds really stupid, in the face of a serious thing going on health wise. But he wasn't there, and he always had. We've just never spent a lot of time apart. And so I guess when I think of being lonely, I'm pretty satisfied to be by myself. Even if he's gone, and I know he's coming back, that night or whatever.
Mhm.
But he's the one that I'm lonely for. I'm really not lonely for anybody else. I don't know if that makes sense or makes me sound bad, but he was gone for 2 weeks, and the reality of how he could have been gone from this earth, it was just like that was probably the loneliest. And I couldn't think of any other time that I felt lonely. So
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry you went through that. All right. What book besides the Bible has influenced you the most?
this one was easy. That series by Francine Rivers, The Mark of the Lion,
Mhm.
and mainly because I probably read it the first time like 20 years ago, maybe even longer. You lose track of time. But the main character, Hadassah, the one thing that I think I remember the most about those books that influenced me so much was her response to people who were sinful was not anger or disgust or any of those kind of negative emotions. She was saddened by it, and she loved them still, or she just wanted them to change. And of course, she was a fictional character, but I realized reading through them how biblical that was to sorrow over sin and to just want people to change and to show them and to model, uh, no matter how you're treated, because a lot of the people who mistreated her, who could have made her angry, her owners, because she was a slave. But she was kind to them, and she was sad when they did things that they shouldn't do. So I would say there was so much about that. I need to go back and read that series. It's been a long time, but The Mark of the Lion by Francine Rivers
Yeah,
was,
I kind of guessed it'd be Francine Rivers, but I didn't know if it'd be that series or Redeeming Love.
yeah, that one was that one was pretty influential too. But
Mhm.
I've never really had a problem with
Well,
the kind of thing that is about the. I do have a problem with being angry about things, but not so much what Redeeming Love is about.
all right. So tell us about what you consider most beautiful in life,
I don't, do you mean like physically, like eyes beautiful, or I
however
wasn't
you
sure
want
what
to
you
answer it.
meant. I mean, things that we see that are beautiful, like the change in seasons. I love the change in seasons in Colorado when you see,
Mm.
go up in the mountains and it looks like they're on fire when the
Mhm.
aspens change. It seriously looks like they're on fire. And I've always loved the mountains in the summertime. I don't know, there's just something so beautiful. Hawaii, I've never seen anything like it. I've
Mhm.
never been too much of an ocean girl. I've always been kind of afraid of the water. So that was kind of a new thing for me and especially down here, the water is brown or black. It's not pretty at all in Texas.
Mm.
So going somewhere where the water is aqua. I mean, there's so many different names of the colors that you can find in the water
Mm.
in different places. So that's beautiful. But then emotionally, what's beautiful in life, and I think about what marriage is like, and that relationship, and what how God provides that companionship. I mean, it's just everything wrapped into one. Your best friend, the one that you love, and all kinds of different feelings, and it's all wrapped up in that one person. And I remember the one who married us, I can still hear him saying that marriage was the vestibule of heaven, a foretaste of glory divine. And I probably can remember it so well because I heard it on the recording, but the vestibule of heaven, thinking about it's like the foyer of heaven.
Mm. I
It's
love
just
that.
one step, one room outside of heaven. And sometimes it doesn't feel that way. But I think that probably I would say that a good marriage is one of the most beautiful things in life. And I don't take it for granted. And I know that not everybody has it. So wish
Mm.
wish everybody did.
Me too. I had to write that down.
The
I loved it.
vestibule of heaven part.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Marriage is the vestibule of heaven.
Foretaste of glory divine.
Love it. Okay. What specific life lesson changed you the most?
Oh, you know all this, but and I've talked about it on in other formats before, but being forgiven and going through a, a period of time in my life that was I don't know, a secret, this secret that I kept from John. And it wasn't, I don't want to go into the whole thing, not necessarily immoral, but it was wrong. It was sinful. And it was a secret it was financial, just say that. And it was something it was just horrid. And I guess it was over a period of a couple of years and just the way I felt and how I'd come across passages that talked about the heart of her husband safely trusts in her. And I thought to myself, he can't trust me. And how can I profess to be a Christian? How can I teach anybody anything when I'm guilty of doing something so stupid and sinful? And, just going through that and then realizing, finally coming to the realization that I've got to do what's right. I've got to take care of this. I know there's going to be some consequences, and I sick to my stomach and more about that. And but then just, making up my mind that I had to do the right thing and then doing it and then being forgiven and forgiven by God, forgiven by different people that it affected, and being able to look back on that and the way it was when I was wrapped up in sin, even though it was sin that I regretted and I um, hated and I didn't want to be part of it. I didn't want to be wrapped up in it, but I didn't want to do what it took to get out of it
Mhm.
and had to pray about it. I remember someone posted on Facebook the verse that says, well, it was a verse, but she first said, sin seeks secrecy.
Mm.
Don't let it, don't let it do something to you. I can't remember the exact words. But then she quoted a passage about getting rid, to not let sin stay in secret, because that's what the devil wants, is to keep us hiding our sin. And so I knew I had to get it out in the light, and it was hard, and it was the hardest thing I ever had done, to confess that, and it was something that I had to, as we say, go forward. I probably didn't have to, in the sense that it wasn't a public sin, but uh, I wanted to be accountable, and I wanted to have the prayers of people, and I needed support. And so I did. And to be surrounded by my church family that I knew loved me was one of those things that, you can't forget. So that's probably, in fact, I know it is, that changed me. That's something that I would never ever want to go through again.
Mhm.
And yet at the same time, I'm thankful for the lessons that I learned because of it.
Mhm. And I'm glad that you're willing to share that, because we've all probably experienced something similar. And how many times do we let it, even though we're miserable, how many times do we hang on to it anyway because of the hardness of doing the right thing and the fear of what ifs on the other side of that? But to hear somebody so honest and open about it and how freeing it was, yes, it was hard, probably one of the hardest things you've ever done, but how freeing it was. And, you felt God's love, the love of his people, the love of your husband, all the growth and support from it, and God's beauty and grace through it all. So I'm glad you're willing to talk about it.
There's a song that I remember hearing at the time that said, "There's freedom found when we lay our secrets down at the cross." And I had to listen to it over and over just because it was a promise. God makes that promise, but yet we have to take that leap of faith. And I know there's a lot of people that have done it and have influenced me to be able to do that too. So
Is
tough,
freedom
but worth
found
it.
when we lay our secrets down?
At the cross. Uh-huh.
Mm, that's good.
Yeah,
Okay. How are we doing on time? How are you doing on time?
I'm good. I'm
Okay.
good.
All right. What prayer do you most often pray? We're just getting all down in there in your business.
Um, there's this is kind of silly, but in those Mitford books,
Yeah.
he talks
Oh, yeah,
about
I know what you're gonna
the prayer that
say.
never fails.
That's right.
Yeah. And that I love that. The prayer that never
Me
fails is
too.
thy will be done. And so sometimes you just, when you don't know what to pray, you can pray the prayer that never fails, which is your will be done, thy will be done. But I think that's probably not what I would say the most often, but I don't even know how to say what I most often pray other than just telling God, I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say, but listen to my heart. That song is always so touching to me. Listen
Mhm.
to my heart. Oh God, please listen. Hear our
Mhm.
voices say, and I don't remember, I can't ever remember what all they are when I'm under
Mhm.
pressure, but just to know that we have an advocate that when we don't know what to say, that he does know. He has those words that he can go before God and express what's on my heart. And when it's something that about our kids that we know what we want to happen, but we don't know if that's what's best. And so when we ask God and we say, I don't know what to say right now, but I know that you know what's best, and I want your will to be done, and I want you to, please put a hedge around them, all those things. But I probably is my prayer is, I don't know what to say, but please listen to my heart.
Yeah. Beautiful. All right. And what scripture has changed you and why?
There's lots of these, but 1 John 4:4, I love that. He who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. That's a big one. I remember that one a lot in high school. That was empowering to know
Mhm.
God's bigger than Satan. Of course, Colossians 3:1 and 2. That's been pretty life-changing. But the one, I guess, that might seem a little silly, but I think it's because I discovered it on my own, and it's not like no one had ever noticed this. A billion people noticed it before I had, but I came across it on my own, and it was like a light bulb. It was the Proverbs 29:25, that says, the fear of man brings a snare, but he who trusts in the Lord will be exalted. And I know I've told you about it before, but when we were in Singapore, and which was ironic too, because fear had kept me from making that trip, and John wanted me to. But I finally agreed to. It was just such a long way. So such a long flight. And I don't like flying. I got over it. I still don't love it. I want to knock myself in the head, but uh different culture, other side of the world, what if something happens to our kids while we're gone, all that kind of stuff. So it was there, and we were in bed one night, and I was just reading through some things, and I came across that passage. And even the version made a difference, because I was reading it in New American Standard, where it says, "He who trusts in the Lord will be exalted." And that's what caught my attention, because I remember thinking, I've always wondered about those passages that said that we'll be exalted. Should we want to be exalted? Because that doesn't seem like a very humble thing to want. So
Right.
I looked at the meaning of that, and one of the definitions that I came across said to be lifted high. And when I thought about that, how the fear of man brings a snare, and how often had my fear of whatever, unfounded fears, what might happen, all those kinds of things, the fear of man brings a snare. How often had that fear been like a trap, that held me down and kept me from saying something or doing something or helping somewhere, whatever. And yet, when you trust in God, he lifts you over that trap. And the visual of it was life-changing to me. And it was because of where I was. I like, okay, I did it. I came, and I love it. I love these people. I love being here. I love everything about it except the plane ride. And it was like God showed me in that moment how he lifted me over that fear that I had, and for lack of a better way of saying it, rewarded me with these relationships that I still have with a lot of the people that are there, and with just a wonderful trip and beautiful memories. So that has helped me since then. Not all the time. There's still a lot of times that fear keeps me from doing things that I should do. But I love that passage, because it helps me to realize that fear is something that I need to resist and just trust God in it, and He'll help me.
And he lifted you high, literally, in an airplane.
Yeah. And low, I am with you always. He's only with us when we're low, right?
Right. Oh, all right, last one. When was the time someone showed you deep compassion and love like Jesus?
Well,
And
that would go back
maybe
to
even,
John's heart event too,
okay.
because wait, what did you say? I interrupted
I
you.
was gonna say, I don't know if you talked about that already in some of the other ones that we've talked about, but
Well, just being surrounded by love. I mean, I that was Jordan made a comment. I don't know if it was the same day or the next day, how wondering how many times had God heard. He said, how many times did God hear Dad's name today? Around the world, his name went around the world, and God heard John's name over and over that day.
Mhm.
So when I talk about lonely, it wasn't lonely in that sense because I knew how many people were lifting us all up in prayer, but it was just such I've talked to you about it before. What a horrible, wonderful, terrible, love-filled time that was. And it was so short, it was just really that couple of weeks, and ours turned out so positively when other people's do not. And I don't know how to handle that, but I do know and have seen the love and the compassion that is poured out from the church, and how beautiful that is. Talk about the beauty of the church and God's plan for the church, and how we surround one another with love and care and food and friendship and sympathy and all the things that we need that we don't even know that we need. God provides. So that would be my answer for that.
Mm. All of your answers were fantastic.
Well,
I
thanks.
know everybody listening loves you even more. So
Well,
thanks for being willing for us to go a little deeper and to share some more of these hard things with the rest of us.
I can't wait to probe you a little deeper.
Okay, so what's for dinner?
Well, we're going out to dinner tonight with
Where
John's
y'all
sister
going?
and her husband, but I do have a plan for tomorrow
Okay.
because it'll be quick. It's a rotisserie, and this is something you've done. And I think, did you have a name for it? I can't remember. Something, it was maybe you're something good for us one time, but the rotisserie chicken and romaine lettuce and
Oh,
a
that
Caesar,
sounds
that there's a particular cracked HEB cracked pepper Romano Caesar dressing, and some
tortellini.
good chunks or slices or whatever kind of Parmesan you like, and a little bit of pasta because
Mhm.
that's so quick and easy, and it's good. It's good for you.
Yeah, it's delicious. Yeah.
What's for your dinner?
Well, tonight, nothing. Neil's out of town, so I'm not cooking just yet.
Popcorn.
But also, I was at a funeral early this afternoon and ended up going out afterwards with a couple of other people that were there. So, yeah, I might grab an apple or something. But last night we had fish tacos, and I started thinking about, I was going to talk about the making the tortillas and all the toppings and stuff. And then I thought, wait, was that my what's for dinner a couple of weeks ago?
No, you haven't
No, it
said fish
wasn't.
tacos yet.
Okay.
Hmm. Anyway, I mean, that's real life because
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes you have repeated things for dinner.
All right. So, what's your something good for us? You said you had something else.
Well, it's almost so simple that it's embarrassing, but it goes with my dinner for tomorrow night. And they're croutons. You probably make these all the time, just homemade croutons. Anytime we have leftover buns, like hamburger buns, but we had some leftover. Have you seen it's Martin's is the brand, they're potato rolls, like hoagie rolls, they're
Oh,
long.
yeah. Hmm.
And so I just I butter them with real butter and sprinkle them with some garlic powder, or you could rub them with garlic, whatever kind of garlic or whatever season you like, but I like garlic. Cut them up with my pizza cutter because that's the easiest way to do it. I like them big, but then
Hmm.
I mean, they're cheaper than store-bought. They taste better. So you just put them in the oven, like toast them at 350 for, I don't know, 10 minutes. And then I turn it way down and let them continue to get a little bit harder and crispy, crusty. And that will go on our rotisserie Caesar salad tomorrow.
It sounds amazing. And you don't have to worry about what to do with the leftover rolls or buns or,
I
yeah.
mean, I can eat them by themselves, and then you can put them on soups. You can put them, I mean, you can just eat them for a snack.
Do you store them in the freezer after you make them or no?
I just put them in a Ziploc bag and we usually go through them fast enough that I don't need to freeze them.
Mhm. So my something good for you is a hack. It's a life hack that I just learned from my sister.
Hey.
Christy was talking about how I don't know if this is a secret or not.
Uh-oh.
And to think of it,
This is interesting.
I'm just gonna say it because it's easier to beg forgiveness and ask permission, but she's about ready to sell her art. She's got
Oh,
a name and everything. I told you last time, y'all, last time that her art is being shown. They're gonna have this little reception and all this other kind of stuff. Um, but she's opening up. I guess she's doing an Etsy shop, I think, but she's got a name. And well, anyway, so I don't know if that's a secret or not, but congratulations, Christy.
hey, Christy.
But she designed these cards, to tuck down in with each order, and they look really beautiful and all that kind of stuff. And well, the next day she said that when she was about ready to place the order, they ended up being more than she wanted to pay for them. So she opted not to get them. And then either the next day or a couple of days later, I don't remember, they reached out to her. And because she didn't buy what was in the cart or, go through with that purchase, they gave her like a significant coupon.
Yeah,
I want to
I remember
say
that.
it was like 40% off or something. I don't know. She's always telling me I'm getting all the details wrong when I share stuff.
We'll give her the opportunity to correct you.
That's right. But anyway, it was a significant coupon. So she was like, note to self, if you're shopping online and something's more than you think you want to pay, leave the item there, but don't check out. And she said, chances are they will reach out to you in the next day or two and offer you some kind of coupon or deal. So I thought that is genius.
Oh, yeah, just sit there and go, okay, what are you going to do now?
What you got for me?
Yep, I like it.
Yeah. All right. Great conversation. Thank you again. Your answers were beautiful. I knew they would be. And hope you have fun at Focal Point. Tell everybody I said hi. Give my husband a hug for me.
Okay, will do.
And until next time.